Good evening and welcome to Green and Gorgeous. Tori, what is going on?
Oh, just normal life stuff. Did have to debut my super exciting new find, the cheese bucket hat. Really pumped about it.
Love it. You have to put out a link for it.
I know, I definitely so like it's definitely a Ratatouille hat from Disney. And I saw it and like I told my friend, I was like, do I get this? Like I love Ratatouille. And I was like, and I feel like I could wear this with my jerseys and
Oh my
stuff.
gosh,
It's like the
love it.
perfect, it's like the adult version of like the cheese hat like head and stuff.
Yes, I love it. The more mature, the very mindful, very
Yeah, this is my
cutesy,
very
very demure.
demure, very mindful cheese hat.
I love it. Do you know what else I love? Beating the Bears.
We love beating the Bears. Breaking the
That
record for the most continuous wins against a team with 11
that
by
was
the skin of our teeth,
stress by the tip. By
by
the tip.
just the tip.
So stressful. I know we had talked and you were going to be flying during the game. Did you get to watch any of it? Were you
This the journey I had to go on to watch this game was absolutely insane. So I had to I went to the airport like pretty early because I had to
okay?
return my rental car. And before you like go through TSA, there was a Chili's. I love a
Mhm.
Chili's. Went
Loving a
upstairs.
Chili's.
Oh my God, I love a Chili's so much. Went upstairs, like frantically looking around, and like the woman's like, "What are you like? Are you looking for someone?" I was like, "No, I got to see what games you have on." And she was like, "Oh," I was like, "I need the Packers game." I'm like sitting at this table by myself, and I was able to sit through half and then
Oof.
I went through TSA at halftime. So I
Mhm.
caught the like last three quarters of the third quarter. And then on the plane, the last quarter, I had to watch through red zone. I couldn't even watch like the end of it in like on my phone because we only have red zone available. And
Yeah.
like Hulu was being a bitch and not working for me, probably because like just like the signal was so bad in the airport.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was
Um,
like watching through red zone, texting Jared. I was like, you need to tell me like what's happening like throughout. And when
mhm.
the block happened, I kid you not, I have headphones in, so no one can hear. They just see that I'm on my phone like this, watching thoroughly. This is right before takeoff. Like the flight attendants are coming in. They're like, make sure your phone's on airplane mode. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
You betcha.
And I like put it on airplane mode and then they walk away and I like take it back off. I was like, we are not in the air yet. And like I had my seat buckled and I leaped and stuff when it got blocked and my seatbelt just pulled me right back down. And I'm like clapping and like the guy's looking at me next to me. Like again, keep in mind he cannot hear or see what I'm watching.
What's going
And I'm
on?
like, high five. And he high fives me. And I had to like explain later that it was
I
because my team won.
Yes, I love that. That's like watching the game. I sat in the same place like the entire time and I don't know about you, but like after a while, I was like, I can't sit here anymore. Like it was just like such a weird like feeling to where I was like, I can't sit here anymore. Like this is just like the seat was bothering me. And granted, I have sat on this couch for how many years in the same exact spot every single Sunday, every single Thursday, every single Monday to watch football. But for whatever reason, it was like halfway through the third, fourth, whatever it was, I was like, I can't sit here anymore. So I ended up moving to a different spot on the couch. And then we drove and we finally scored a touchdown. And then we're sitting there and he goes to kick the field goal. And I'm like this, miss it, miss it, miss it,
Jared, I don't know how
miss it.
he does it. He like senses it. Like the past few like misses in the games we've been watching, whether
Mm-hmm.
it be like his Chiefs game, my game, he will like text me. Like this time he texts me, usually I'm with him, and he'll be
Mm-hmm.
like, man, like I got a bad feeling about this, or like it'd be crazy if he missed it right now. And he doesn't say that every time, but like he did. He texted me and it was like, I feel like he could, like, he's due for a block
Yeah.
or something
It,
like that. Or like a
I
miss is what I think he said, a miss.
I was jumping up and down. My dad was jumping up and down. We were like, yeah, 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 yeah. Like it was, and my mom was like, what? And we're like, they blocked it. We want. Like, I could not believe it. Like, it just felt like almost like the NFC champion, or not the championship, but like the
Definitely not the
divisional
championship.
game. Yeah, like the divisional game last year, to where it was just like that slow, painful watching them drive, and it just was like, oh my gosh, like really, like this just sucks. But I don't know about you, but I had the time of my life this past week. I have not skipped a video of him getting blocked, and I have not skipped a Bears reaction video because
I
they are
love.
absolutely hilarious.
Did you see the Bucks social media as well though?
Oh, yes, because,
With the
yeah,
just the
Fox.
tempo.
Yes, and then the Packers underneath it were like,
It was so funny. I love
it was
that.
a good day to be a Wisconsin sport, or good week to be a Wisconsin sports fan, but, the game in itself was terrible. We looked
Oh my
horrendous.
gosh. Yeah, like frustrating as can be. Like
So bad.
defense, where were you?
They were nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
I
And
will
then
say the only positive to that game was our lack of flags. Obviously, the soft call that McKinney got, that was absolutely ridiculous. And even the announcers were like, what, when Caleb went to USC, did he go to the school of acting? But other than that, we did not shoot ourselves in the foot with the flags. So I feel like that was an encouragement. Loves interception. Yuck, okay, not great, but it wasn't
really
a
bad
there was
time.
yeah, there was 1 or 2 times where he actually threw the ball away, and it was like, that's showing improvement, that's showing growth,
It's
because
like
I feel
just
like,
do that. Like
yeah, like 3 or
clearly
4
you
weeks
can do
ago,
it.
yeah, it could have been an interception. So, overall, like, in the grand scheme of things, I felt better, but also at the same time, like, I'm like, "Oh, dang, like, this is not good, like, this is brutal."
Yeah, no, that defense like who would have thought special teams would have made up for our defense? Like
Would have
look at
won it for us?
I know.
Excuse me?
We had I feel like there were a couple opportunities to try and like put the game away.
Mhm.
The interception was one, obviously, because he ended up getting that like right almost at the end zone and
Yeah.
stuff. And so like obviously that is a killer because looking at that, even like coming away with a field goal obviously would have been
Mhm.
better. And
Oh,
I'm pretty sure
absolutely.
they ended up didn't they get a touchdown after that or they
Yeah.
got something after it. And then this wouldn't have necessarily put the game away, but us trying to go for that touchdown instead of a field
Field
goal at
goal.
the
Yeah.
end. I mean, like I understand why, because like we were down, but there was also I think like 11 full minutes, like a little more than
Mhm.
11 minutes left in the game. And I mean, you hope, I guess, your defense makes a stop or at least like keeps them to a field goal and then you have like more time left after. But I mean, the way our defense was playing, can you really trust them for not trusting your defense? Like
I mean,
maybe our defense other weeks, but not then.
they had not scored a touchdown in, like, how long, and then they score on it, and it's like, "Okay, like, this isn't good." Like,
Mhm.
no. Um, yeah, and I don't agree with the play that was the 2-point conversion call. That was a horrible play. Love should have just kept it, honestly. I don't know if you got to
I
see that or
know,
not, but
yeah.
it was so obvious, like, that Josh Jacobs was gonna get it, and it was just, like, a blown play. It was dumb. Love should have kept it. I think if Love would have caught it, or if Love would have kept it, he would have run into the end zone just fine. So, but I mean, obviously, very happy that we won, but there's always stuff to improve on for sure.
Yeah, no, it's and we're gonna need to improve on that because we'll get to it, but obviously our next opponent is not the Bears. So
49ers. Yep.
I I did see someone ask or like I saw someone like say something like this. So the Chiefs may be the luckiest team in the NFL, but do you think the
Mhm.
Bears this year are the unluckiest team in the NFL?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Which is good, like, we need.
They talk too much crap to like
Yeah.
not it's called karma, right?
Oh,
And
absolutely. Oh,
JoJo Siwa said it.
karma
Karma's a
is a kick.
bitch.
I just, yeah, and I was seeing Packer fans that were like, "Oh, it's almost hard not to feel bad for them." I'm like, "No, I don't feel bad for them." I'm like, "They talk so much trash, they always win the off season, and we paid too much for Love, and the thing where it was like, I love the video of their defender, I think, was it Jalen Johnson, whoever it was, like jumping over the player, and they're saying, like, he's gonna be Spider-Man this year, and then he was holding on to whoever it was like, the coattails, like getting slid, like how you pull your a bobsled or something like that. And it's like they talk so much crap during the off season, but then it's like when the real season comes, like no. And it's like, granted, we really can't say that much. All we can say is we beat you, like, but overall we didn't look that good either. But
Yeah, no,
yeah,
not at all.
I don't feel bad for them. I hope that we continue to beat them. I want to beat them for the next 40 years.
I know, like, I want to never lose them. I mean, like, as a sports fan, I didn't like feel bad for them necessarily, but I'm like, no wonder they hate us. Like, it's kind of
Oh,
like my thought. Like, I was like, I get it. Like, I'd hate us.
but then afterwards saying that, oh, well, it should have been a penalty because of, he pushed up on him. It's the thing is like, your coach literally could have ran another play. Like, y'all wasted like 14 seconds. You could have ran another play for an additional, like, you just thought that the 46-yard field goal was going to be a gimme. It's crazy to hear what the special teams talked about, saying that, if it would have been a shorter distance, they don't think that they would have been able to block it. But I guess something from the footage a week or two ago showed that there would have been an opening to block it. And I'm like, obviously I don't play football, so that's not in my mind, but the thought process that you can watch footage to look for where the weak spots are going to be, especially on a kick. And like, to me, I never even thought of that before. So I was like, that's pretty smart.
No,
So
I did see that like LaFleur and Bisaccia or whatever was like they were both saying um like there's almost no way we come away without like a block on like a field goal or an extra point at some point. Cause like they were looking to a lot of footage and they were seeing, like you're saying, like a lot of these like open spaces and stuff,
mhm.
and they were consistent. So I mean, they didn't. I mean, they were probably surprised it actually happened, I
Yeah.
guess. But like by the sounds of it, they weren't too surprised that there was going to be a block at some time in the
Oh,
game.
yeah. Do you feel like did you see where their coach was going to put in a like submission to the NFL on the officiating, saying that it should have been a penalty, and it's like it's not going to do anything. And then Carl Brooks gets nominated as the special teams NFC Player of the Week, and it's like that's NFL just saying like screw you.
Right. Oh my God.
Yeah, like just stop, just stop. So I guess we play in week 18, so we have a couple more weeks to, and we play them in Lambeau, so
Yeah. And
should be
that's
a
gonna
nice
be like
cold.
way more fun. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I guess in other news, we did see that Rogers got basically the GM fired for the Jets.
That is a dumpster fire over there at the Jets. I don't know
God,
what's
I'm
going
so glad
on.
it's not us anymore.
The question is, are they going to want to keep him around, or is he legitimately going to go to the Vikings? Like everything is lining up in place for him
At
to
this
go to the
point,
Vikings.
let him go to the Vikings. Watch that place burn.
I mean, all the people that were, we won the trade and we cooked you guys, and, he's
Mhm.
wanting to come, and, he participated in OTAs for the first time in like X amount of years, and he took a pay cut, and what is going on? Like, what is going on? It sucks because it's like, it's tarnishing his legacy.
It's tarnishing it so badly. Like the memes are becoming amazing each week. More and more
Yeah, and at this
amazing.
point, it's like, is he going to sign a one-day contract with the Packers and retire? Are the Packers going to want him back after? I mean, I assume they are because
I know.
obviously he's going to be an MVP. He's going to go to the, Hall of Fame. So it's like you might as well. But it's like, my biggest fear when going into whenever we traded his, I'm like, oh my gosh, like if he, wins the Super Bowl with the Jets, it's like, will
Mhm.
he go into the Hall of Fame as a Jets player instead of a Packers, even though he
I
spent
don't think there
all
would have
this
been any way
time.
that would have happened, honestly.
If they would have won a Super Bowl, like if things would have been different,
But
I
he
I
also
could
won a Super Bowl in
see.
Green Bay.
I know, but I could see like the pettiness of it. But now it's like you've done absolutely nothing,
But
and
create issues like
yeah,
throughout the
you've
whole
done nothing in New
organization.
York. So it's like you're not no. So I think he's gonna probably sign a one-day contract with the Packers and retire a Packer.
I think he should.
'Cause
I think he should get out of here. He should, like. I mean, obviously, I understood why he wanted to try this year. He
mhm.
didn't get that opportunity last year, and it's not working. You gotta take your money and run. Like get
Yeah,
out of there.
that's brutal. But yeah, the fact that they fired their GM, I'm like, well, couldn't have happened to a better person. So because I think right now their playoff chances are at like 1 to 2%. It has to be that low. So
Oh,
brutal.
well, I'm also curious, Emily. We skipped right over it. Who were your studs and duds of the game?
Okay. I looked at this earlier and I just want to make sure I'm not stepping on your toes. So just give me
You
a
better watch out. My
second.
toes are so big. I have big feet. Finding shoes
Okay.
is really difficult.
My stud is going to be Josh Jacobs. I think he looked great. I think he looked incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did a good job. He's the Aaron Jones trade was really hard. I know we've talked about that, but we moved on at the right time, and Josh Jacobs is doing incredible. So I think he's a great running back. So
No, he's
my
done very well, and like even the announcers were saying, like during the game that like when it feels like we need something, we're giving it to Jacobs.
Jacobs, yeah, he's doing incredible. My Dust is going to be Coach LaFleur. What was he doing challenging in it on the 1 yard? Like, why?
How many bad challenges has he had this season?
A lot, a
Like
lot.
at
There was,
least 3. At
yeah,
least 3 in 12 weeks.
it, yeah, that definitely. Some questionable play calling again on the 2-point conversion.
Mhm.
What was he doing? There was just a lot of questionable stuff that he did. The challenge because he challenged, he challenged it, that's what I was saying. So yeah, he definitely been my dad. I mean, obviously he's still very attractive and great coach, but questionable choices in his
Yeah,
coaching, which
quite.
honestly in the grand scheme of things, like there's a handful of games that I've been like giving kind of like McCarthy like
Oh
vibes
God.
as to like what are we doing.
Speaking of
um
dumpster fires. No.
yeah, I loved these
I was like, you're
games.
living in it. Do you love watching the downfall of the
Oh,
Cowboys right
absolutely,
now?
absolutely. I don't see, and there's nobody's posting about them anymore on
It's
Facebook, like all of my friends
beautiful.
and stuff like that. The Texans social media team was hilarious. I don't know if you saw it or not, but the fight on Friday, obviously that was a whole thing at AT&T Stadium. Netflix really dropped the ball on that. So
That
the
was,
Texans,
yeah,
they
terrible.
tweeted out and they were like, finally a real fight's coming to Arlington this weekend or something like that. And then also on Monday, when they attempted to open the roof, a piece of sheet metal
I
fell
saw that.
from the sky. And so what's hilarious is the Texans took it and they photoshopped one and they photoshopped another and they photoshopped it into the shape of the L
Yes.
falling from the roof. And I am like, genius. Whoever did that,
I
like,
love it. I
deserves a
love the
raise.
pettiness.
Like, absolute,
I saw
so
someone
funny.
also say, I saw this like TikTok earlier today, and they were talking about the stadium for the Cowboys and how there's been a couple times this year where it seems like the wide receiver, whoever's like getting the ball thrown to them, is
Mhm.
losing it in the sun
Oh,
because
absolutely.
of
Yeah.
like that lighting in
Yeah.
there. And then they did find they cover that for concerts.
Yeah. So the
So why are you
reason,
not just like like clearly it's a
yeah,
problem.
the
It's
reason
literally
why they
pride.
cover it for concerts is because, again, living here, it's a huge thing right now. Because they don't want drones flying to take footage. And so, like, for the fight that happened at what, 10, 11 o'clock p.m., it is pitch dark outside. They put the curtains up so that way drones and people flying stuff couldn't have footage into it. Now, why are you not doing that for a game when the sun? I have no idea. I think my favorite meme that I saw was like, it was a picture of the stadium and then it had Jerry Jones, almost like oh gosh, Teletubby style with his face shining down.
Oh
And
my
it
god, as the sun?
as the sun, yeah, that I think was my favorite meme
That's
that I've seen. But
comical.
you have a X amount of, even before Dak's hurt, he's on IR, he's out. But it's like you've spent how much money into CD Lamb and you spent how much money into Dak, and it's like, and you're blinding them. I mean, whenever I've been to games there before, the 12 o'clock game, the 3 o'clock game, that sun, like you would think that it's like, okay, we're gonna go this way, you're gonna go this way, but it's like if you lose the coin toss, you can set it up to where it's like right when that sun's gonna be blinding, that they're gonna be going the opposite way. So it's blinding. Even the game in January, whenever the Packers were there at whatever time it was, like even though it was dreary outside, it was gray, whatever, like there's still a sun coming through, and it's like
Oh
that's
yeah.
in January. So right now it's like perfect weather outside. It's like cool 60, 70s. So it's like, yeah, the sun is blinding them. So it is a dumpster fire here in Arlington, Texas, for sure. For sure.
That's beautiful. I love that for you.
Love it. I love it. I even tweeted out, I was like, my 2 best days this year were actually because after, like, all the drama with, like, AT&T Stadium, I was like, actually, my 2 best days this year were actually in AT&T Stadium. I'm like, first of all, the Packer game that I went to in January, and then the Morgan Wallen concert in July. I'm like, my 2 best days my 2 best days of 2024 happened in AT&T Stadium. So thank you, Jerry Jones, because you've made me a very happy girl.
Oh my God. Shout out to Jerry.
Shout out to Jerry. The only positive shout out he's getting, I know, anywhere on all social media is from me.
Well, anyways, back to who was your dud for the game?
LaFleur, our coach.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Who's your stud and dud?
Yes. My stud, Christian Watson. That was
Deserves.
beautiful. Shout out
Yes.
also to Mama Watson, who has
Yes.
been on this podcast before. No, that was like so good to see him because I feel like so Jaden Reed's become like almost like that's our number one right now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Reed's our number one. And Watson was supposed to be that guy. And I really like that. I feel like he's not like butthurt about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like he is
Mm-hmm.
okay letting Reed have his time, do his thing, and he's
Yeah.
still working on his thing. He had a career day in yards or whatever. Big plays at the end of the game, obviously that
Mm-hmm.
diving catch and then getting up and running.
Running. Yeah. The
That was
smarts.
amazing.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
that led to the go-ahead touchdown and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And but it wasn't even like just that. There were like several plays, like big plays he was a part of that game. So the stud is definitely Christian Watson for me. And as for the dud, I was like, man, I'm gonna take my pick from the defense because it's got to be one of them. And I'm going with Quay Walker, unfortunately,
Yeah.
because I love Quay,
Mm.
the Quay maker, if you will. And
There was
and
no quays to be made,
there,
or there was
no,
plenty of quays to be made. There was just none made.
I saw again the social media aspect because like he was seen like talking to like the whole defense or whatever, and someone was like the SpongeBob like looking for the
I think my favorite thing was like whenever he was trying to hype up the defense, and it's like the calls coming from inside the house, bud. Like
yes, yes.
there was so many times where it's like he just kind of like whiffed on Williams, and it's like Williams looked like Justin Fields against us, which is the freaking annoyingest thing. I hate when quarterbacks run against us because it's just like
Mhm.
stop it. And there was multiple times where he just like whiffed on him, and I'm like, what are we
Yes.
doing?
There
Like
was there was several times
why?
on especially 3rd and 4th downs, he's
Yeah.
not making the stops. Along with Van Ness also did not
Mhm.
either. Like there was a couple, but I did just decide to go with Quay because I think he was like the like defensive side captain or whatever for the game.
Yeah, did not.
And
Van
it
Ness
just did not do his job then.
Van Ness gets a pass because he was booty pushing. So he gets a pass in my book. I would have bopped you on your cheese hat if you would have picked him over any of
No,
the other
no, no.
defenses.
So I went with Quay. I went with Quay.
That's fair.
It's
That's fair.
okay.
Yeah,
Leave my
the
hat
calls.
alone. Leave my hat out of
No,
this.
the calls coming from inside the house, buddy.
That was so I did see
Brutal.
that. That was hilarious.
I love social media. I love
I
social
love
media.
Twitter is made like just from like people all like me and I appreciate it because some like they're saying the things I'm thinking, but I'm like, this will sound weird outside. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Well,
no,
also
but these people are okay saying it. They want
people are so quick on it too. Like that's the
so
thing is like they're
quick.
so quick. Like yeah, I can tweet some stuff and I've had a couple that I'm like, okay, like this is fire, like this is a banger. But then sometimes I'm just like, like I see someone else, I'm like, okay, retweet.
I know. I'm like, I hate to know that there's people funnier than me out there in this world, but like, I'm glad they exist.
It's the cross I bear.
And like the hard part too is like, I'm bilingual. Like the first language is English, and the second
Mhm.
language is like just brain rot. It's like just all the stupid like shit on Twitter or like on TikTok, whatever. Vines. I still quote Vines.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
hate when some like I have to like explain it to someone. I'm like, can't you just like appreciate what I do for this world?
Well, that's like my roommate and I at work, like we're so quick online stuff to where like we have like common occurrences like where we'll just be like James, or any of the other ones. Like, it's like she's chronically online, I'm chronically online, so we send each other stuff. Like,
Mhm.
you
Oh,
know,
yeah, no, I have, like, my 2 friends, I'm like, "I know you guys know what I'm talking about," like,
yeah.
every time.
The current obsession with the word at the office is everyone's going like, once you like, hey, can you, email me this patient's medical records? I'll be like, slay.
Oh, man. Love that.
Be like, hey, here you go, slay. I'm like, okay, you got them. Like, don't need to send me back, hey, thanks so much. You just like slay. And then now that we've within the past 2 weeks, we've decorated our office for Christmas. I know it's early, but we put such a big production into decorating our office for Christmas that it's like we want it to be up for so long. So sleigh has turned into the Christmas sleigh version.
Yes, of course.
It's like sleigh, and it's like, okay, I love it. I love it so much.
Oh,
Sunday, big game. How are
big
you
game.
feeling?
I mean, nervous, I
Mm-hmm.
would say for sure. I mean, if we recap, I guess, the game last year to end it, it was a 24-21 heartbreaker on my birthday. How dare they? The
There's no
day
respect
of
anymore in this
my
world.
birth. But Jordan Love was, I looked up the stats. I do not just know that's on my head. I looked him up earlier today. Jordan Love was 21 for 34 with 194 yards. He had 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Do you think he's capable of doing better than that? Because I feel like we're going to need definitely less interceptions from him and at least another touchdown.
Yeah, and more yards, because I feel like that's such a low amount of
That is a
yards for
low
him.
amount of
I
yardage. Yeah.
do remember Aaron Jones had a really good running game that game.
He did. He had a
Um,
good running game, but he did not. I don't think he had a touchdown. Did he? He
I
might
think he
have.
got tripped up on the last one, which
Let's
kind of
see. I still have it up. Nope, no touchdowns for Jones.
okay. I think he will do better. I do think that he did look better, and also too, like we experienced last year, his run after the bye was significantly greater than it was before the bye.
Hmm.
Excuse me, and I have high hopes that his run will continue to get better. I mean, they're all saying like we have not even played our best football yet, and it's like,
No, I don't think they
okay,
have,
I
honestly.
agree. Let's do it, because now the time's now. Like in the NFC, like we said last week, like 8 and 9 is, or 9 and 8 is not going to get you into
No.
a wild card seed. So it's like you've got to do better than that. So I think that he'll have, let's see, 3 touchdowns, probably 1 interception, and I'm gonna go 280 yards.
Okay.
So
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
that
I on the other hand, I don't know. I feel like this could be more of, I feel like we're gonna try and get Jacobs involved a little bit more. Just
mhm.
because I feel like with the turnovers Love's been having, it feels like Jacobs has just been like more reliable. San Francisco's defense usually pretty good, so that's gonna be a
Mhm.
toughie. I hope he cracks 200 yards at least. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
hoping I could see him getting a, if we're gonna like try for everything, I see him getting like 235 yards. I see him having, honestly, I could see him having 2 interceptions again, but I'm hoping for at least 3 touchdowns.
We've got to be positive at some point. Like he's got to have more touchdowns than interceptions. Like please, please,
Yeah,
please,
I
please.
mean, see, if he has maybe 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, I think Jacobs is getting
Okay,
touchdowns
the
this
rest of
game.
them. Okay.
Do I think we're winning? I don't know.
I don't know. Like it's hard because we have the momentum. It's at home. I know at least today's Lambeau was snowy.
I know that was so pretty to see. I love that.
It like I go through phases where I'm like, I wish I lived in Wisconsin. I wish I lived in Green Bay. I wish I
Oh,
lived
you don't.
there.
Trust me. No, you don't. I've lived
No,
in the
I know.
north. You don't. You
I
wouldn't
know.
survive up there.
Girl, when you tell me what happens with like y'all's weather whenever you're having to like stick your car into the heater situation, like I do not understand. It is 30 degrees. Last night was 46 degrees. I walked by our back door, which was closed by the way, and I'm like, oh.
This morning, this whole day was like 46 degrees.
I
And
have
I'm
been
in
like,
Kansas City. I am hours south.
Yeah, I'm thriving right now in my crew neck, my Packers everywhere crew neck. Thank you, by the way. But I am thriving in like sweaters because I'm like, it's so cold outside. So it's like, yeah, no, I absolutely would die
What's
anything
your
day.
like temperature where it's like, you know what, I need a jacket? I'm just curious.
Low 70s.
Low 70s? You're insane.
I get so cold really easily.
I'd be in a tank top and like maybe jeans.
Mm-mm. I'm going to Canada for Thanksgiving, and I know it's going to be like 30 some odd degrees. And I already know like I am going to need so much. I'm trying to pack everything in a carry-on again because I refuse to check bags now. Unless I'm going to Disney. Disney is the only excuse for me to check a bag. But I'm like, I bought some like compression packing cubes. So it's like you put everything in there and then you close it and then you zip it. So I'm like, I'm hoping that I can get a bunch of like winter clothes all smushy.
You're insane. I'm still like 70 degrees is such a nice day. Like my perfect day is anywhere from like 65 to 75. Like that's a
Oh
beautiful
no.
day to me.
And I will say, like, I will say it is gorgeous outside today. However, I need to be in a crew neck or I need to have a jacket. Like, I agree. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I'm cold. I'm cold. I'm cold. I'm cold. I'm cold. Like, it's
You're
I just
insane.
I run cold.
Emily, I don't even have a jacket. I was just like, I'll just wear a sweatshirt. I'll just like make it. I'll be fine.
The amount
I
of
don't
jackets
have it.
that I own.
I actually got when I went to the Lambeau game, was it 2 years ago now, maybe? I like I went on Marketplace and I found like a leather jacket and that's my emergency jacket I keep in my car. Is my Green Bay leather jacket.
Oh no, no. I have so many jackets. I love jackets. But
I
also
see
too,
I
like,
hate jackets because then I go inside and I'm like instantly hot and I hate carrying stuff. I'm like, no. I'm too lazy. Like that's what it is. I'm just too lazy for a jacket. Even when I lived in Minnesota, I didn't
yeah.
wear jackets.
Oh man. No, I love a good jacket. I have a bunch of Packer jackets. So those are usually what I wear. And I tell people too, I'm like, I get clothes specifically from the Green Bay Packers Pro Shop or Packer clothes that are like vintage because I know that they were made well because they're made for the winter. So it's like, yeah, you can get like a winter jacket here, but it's like I'm buying clothes that are specifically made for the frozen tundra. It has the word frozen in it, so I know it's going to keep me warm. And I stay warm. And I'm like, I'm warm and I'm cozy. I have like a big puffer jacket. I have like a leather like wool jacket. Um I have a couple hoodies. Like yeah, like the hoodies no not so much, but the other like winter wear like I stay toasty. I stay toasty.
Oh, well, I mean, this game, so we went over how we think Jordan Love will do.
Mhm.
How about defense facing Christian McCaffrey? I mean, also, real quick, kind of bullshit. The Vikings got to play the 49ers without Christian
I
McCaffrey. And
know.
the whole rest of the division has to, because they're playing literally us, the Lions, the Bears, like right in a row.
Oh, wow. Yeah, kind of BS. It's just like the cookie crumbles, I guess. Um, I don't know. I feel like they have such a like this could go one of two ways. It can be in their head that's like, well, we have not beat the 49ers since what was it like that one game with Rodgers all those years
I was
ago?
like, we've beat him in like regular season.
Yeah, in regular season. So it might be like it's in their head that they can't beat them. So then they play really bad. Or it's going to be really good to be like, hey, this team has been our kryptonite for how many years? It's time to get it together.
And how's
Like,
that worked for the Bears, Emily?
we are not the Bears. We are not unlucky. We already talked about that. They are the unluckiest team in the NFL. We are different because they lose to us no matter what, whether it's postseason, whether it's during the regular season. We lose to the 49ers during the postseason. So, yeah. Have you seen the comparison about how everything with Rodgers and Love is looking the same?
Yes, I did see that comparison today. It was like we were the sixth seed that
Yeah.
year. We're like looking at the sixth seed this year. The
Six and
like,
three after the bye,
yes,
lost
no,
to the Eagles first game.
I did see all the similarities, which is, cool. But do I think we're going to the Super Bowl this year? I'll be so honest. No. Like, no, we're not going to, not with the amount of penalties that we give ourselves and
Mhm.
not with the interceptions and turnovers we're giving ourselves. Like, no,
Yeah.
we're gonna hopefully make it to the playoffs. Cause I
Yeah.
mean, I did see too that with a win, I think we're like 80 or 90% likely to like be in the playoffs at least. But with the
Okay.
loss, like we dropped to like 60
Oh, wow.
or
Okay,
something.
so
Yeah, we like, and I can't remember. It's either 40 or 60. But like it's
mhm,
one of those numbers. So we drop a decent amount with this loss. This team is also trying to compete for a playoff spot.
mhm.
So they're bringing their A game. Our division's all competing for a playoff spot, except for probably the Bears now. But
Yeah, probably the Bears now. I I don't know. I feel like we win this game if our defense can get a turnover. I feel pretty confident that if Jordan Love can do what he needs to do, and if our defense can get a turnover, I feel okay. Like I don't know. I have a weird peace with it. I have a weird sense of it. I have a good feeling that we're gonna win this game. Now I'm always the
yeah, you sure are.
optimist. I don't know what it is. I feel good about it. So I don't know. I just have a weird sense of peace with this football this year. Like it's like last year kind of was the unknown, and then towards the end of the season with the playoffs and everything like that, I had a weird sense of peace with it also. But it's kind of like I just feel like the stakes aren't as high anymore, and I just feel like it's kind of fun to be able to just enjoy the moment with the game and with this team.
That's no, that's fair because I feel like we were always expected to win the division. We were
Mhm.
expected to be in the playoffs, which is a great thing to be,
Oh,
obviously. I
absolutely.
love that.
I wouldn't have it
But
any other way.
like there is something kind of freeing of being like, oh, like let's just get in the playoffs versus, oh God, we need that number one seed. We want to be at like
Mhm.
now it's just like let's just like get there. And it is like a
Yeah,
little bit less intense. I feel
stressful.
like it's I don't know. I feel like it was so stressful, especially for me at the end, because it was like we knew Roger's time was running out.
Yes.
And that's what I think was so stressful, is especially at the end of the season. Like it was like shit, like this is it. Like
Mhm.
we're running. This is like now we know it's like, okay, we still have a shot. Like we're
Oh,
not
yeah.
done.
And that's the perfect way as to, like, how I described it too, is was, like, with Rodgers, it felt like every year our window for winning the Super Bowl was getting smaller and smaller just because of the fact of, like, the threatening of the retirement and then all of a sudden trading teams. But with what we were able to accomplish last year, we still have to remember we are the youngest team, and especially with us saying bye-bye to Preston, like, we are the youngest team. So it's
Mhm.
like, we have to remember that they're young, they're gonna make mistakes. As long as they can fix those mistakes, which again, less penalties this past week was great. Love has to clear up the interceptions, and it's like if we can get those two things under control, then we'll be good. Stick with the core team. Last we had a great offseason with bringing in Jacobs, with bringing in McKinney. Maybe next year focus on the pieces that we need to bring in. Okay, we probably need another corner for sure because I love
Especially
Jair.
because rookie contracts are going to start
Yeah.
running out too. So it's like this is who we have right now. We don't know who's
Hmm.
coming back.
Yeah, so start to put some of those pieces together, and it's like, who knows? But I don't. I'm okay with where we're at, but yeah, I need to see more corrections out of them and less interceptions. Pookie is what
Oh,
they like to call him.
Pookie. Yes, Mr. Silly Body. Um, I hope it's a good I hope it's either a good close game or I hope like we just win by a lot. That'd be great.
Yes.
Do I think we will? I don't know. I really
Okay.
don't. I know I did say that like in our beginning of season guesses, I did put an L under this one. The 49ers just aren't as scary, I feel like, as they usually are though.
Mhm.
And so that's why I'm not like 100%. But I'm definitely more pessimistic than optimistic about this one. I'm just like, I think we could at least keep this like close.
Yeah, that's
And
fair. That's really fair.
and that's where I'm at with it. I would love to get a win out of it, especially because the Vikings have already beat them and like we're kind
Mhm.
of competing with them a lot too and like playoff wise.
Yeah. We're closer
Um
with the Vikings than the Lions at this point because the Lions are
oh, the
just
Lions are just tearing people apart like a
yeah,
lion would. Like
shredding people.
this is like what the second time they've scored 54 points this season.
Yeah,
That's
that's scary.
insane.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, I mean, they're my bet to be the NFC team in the Super Bowl this year because who else is it gonna be in the NFC? Like, all of
Mhm.
us are kinda just, like, competing with each other except the Lions. The Lions are
Yeah.
just out there doing the absolute most. Good
Yeah.
good for them, I guess. It's just so weird. I don't hate them, like, I hate the others.
No, I still hate them. It's a division rival. I will hate them. Nothing can make me like them. I don't care how likable the coach is. I will not root for them. I do not care. If Kansas City goes, I will be rooting for Kansas City. I know you won't,
Yeah,
but
no.
I will be rooting for Kansas City. I do not care. I cannot stand the Lions. So anybody in our division, I hope they go down. It's the pettiness in me.
It is the pettiness in you. But on that note, I guess let's get ourselves on out of here and so we can enjoy Thursday night football as well.
Yes.
I'll drop our usernames here on Twitter. Give us a follow for sure. Green and Gorgeous, that's 2 underscores on that one. With that being said, anything else from you,
Go Pack
Emily?
go.
Go
Go
Pack
Pack
Go.
go.